to our IMP monthly programs call. This month we're going to talk about National Mentoring Month 2020 and all our new and exciting different plans in COVID. This is Mary Shika with Iowa Mentoring Partnership, and also have my colleague Chad introduce himself.
Hello, Chad Driscoll on staff with Iowa Mentoring Partnership in Volunteer, Iowa.
And as I said in the chat for introductions, if you would, I think with this group, we can go through our participant list, and we'll call on you if you'd please say your name and your program and location. I think that's helpful too, and share a new or different, or it could be something you've done before for National Mentoring Month, an activity that your program is going to do to engage in the campaign this year. And if you're able, if you could turn on your video while you're sharing, that'd be great for all your colleagues and us to see you. Thanks. So first up on the alphabetical list, no pressure, Alyssa. Alyssa, are you able to unmute and share?
Yes, I'm here. Hang on. I'm plugging in my computer. Sorry.
No worries. You know what? While you're plugging in, we'll go to Annie.
Okay.
So Annie Stephan from Mentor Dubuque for both Dubuque and Jackson counties, part of Hillcrest Family Services. Something this year that we're excited about is that we'll be doing kind of a recruitment campaign during National Mentoring Month called Mentoring Is. We have worked with a local mentors for graphic designers, basically, as a grant so they could help us with the designs and everything. And we just recorded radio ads and have been looking for stuff like that. So we're really excited about that. It's about as much virtual presence in a certain sense, but at least we're getting, net recognition out there. Then just kind of the normal thank yous that we do then for our current mentors as well.
Thanks, Annie. I think there might be some interest in how you engaged someone to do the graphic design. I heard you mention grant, or could you explain that a little bit more?
Sure. So we have, I think it's called the AAF, either scholarship or grant. But what it is McCullough Creative here in Dubuque. They do a program with NICC and I think it's Clark students, so that they're doing their senior project, where they will they get together to kind of as a way of having the people in the business already teach the younger students that are just graduating. And it's a way that then they select a nonprofit that they want to work with to help out with creating marketing campaigns. So
great. Sounds like
yeah, it's kind of helpful in the fact that Pat McCullough is one of our mentors. So I think there was a little bit of favoritism that way, but that did definitely help.
Whatever works. Great partnership, and great partnership with the college. Thanks. And Alyssa, we just gave you a little bit of break because Alyssa has been on board for all of a month, but welcome and introduction, please.
Thank you. So my name is Alyssa Carwall. I'm the program coordinator for Not Alone Youth Mentoring here at Mills County Public Health. So what we've been working on is creating a virtual event for all of our mentors and mentees, which is actually today. We're doing Christmas karaoke later tonight, and we're inviting not only our mentors and mentees, but other people from the community who might need some Christmas cheer and might want more information about our programs. So we're very excited for that.
Thanks, Alyssa. And your colleague Brenna is on as well. I don't know, Brenna, if you want to turn your camera on and say hi or have anything else you'd like to add?
Hi, my name is Brenna. I am working with Alyssa. I'm the group coordinator for our kids group. So Alyssa and I work very closely on all the activities we host together, and we are very excited for our Christmas activity tonight.
Sounds super fun. Enjoy. Thanks for sharing. Kristen Elting?
Hello, yes, Kristen Elting with Big Brothers Big Sisters of Johnson County. I am usually the school-based program coordinator, but with that, as you all know, is a little bit different currently. We were actually just discussing what we're going to do this year. So we usually do a big of the year we pair with a frat and do a breakfast. So this year we're going to, of course, not do the breakfast and kind of get creative in doing the bigs of the year nominees, and haven't finalized all the ideas and details, but currently in the works. So that's what we're looking towards.
Great. Here's some more ideas today. Sure, too. Thanks. Felicia.
A second. Making me put my camera on. Mary.
We want to see you while you chat. Hey there.
It's a chaotic jungle here.
You fooled us.
Felicia Watkins with the YSS mentoring program. We serve Boone, Story, and one program in Webster City and Hamilton County. National Mentoring Month, we just talked about this at our advisory council meeting last week. So we don't have any definite plans as of now, but everything's going to be virtual. So we might be implementing some coffee chats. We've always done a lot on social media. We're usually on the radio. Going to be doing the YSS Let's Talk series on Facebook Live. And then hopefully putting something special together for the mentees and mentors. Just not sure what that's going to be yet.
Great. I heard you have a really great guest for your YSS Facebook Live for National Mentoring Month.
I think that's you, Mary.
Happy to do that. All right.
Thank you.
Felicia. John.
Hey, John Preston, Community Youth Concepts in Des Moines. And I'll just pull the, it's starting to get to the, I can only say relatively now. But yeah, I'm not 100% sure what we're going to do during National Mentoring Month. I'm sure we'll throw things out on social media. And I saw the form that we sent in for the recognition certificates, but yeah, excited to hear what you guys are doing in January.
Great. Thanks for joining us, John. Caitlin.
Hi, I'm Caitlin with New Opportunities in Carroll. The other coordinator, Jamie, I don't think she's on the call today. I don't see her. But we haven't quite discussed National Mentor Month yet or our plans, so I was kind of jotting down some as you guys said them. Kind of like John, I'm relatively new. I started in June, so this will be my first one to experience, so that's kind of exciting. But I think in the past, like we do the certificates and things like that, but I think we also try to do like a gift or like a gift card or something to give to our mentors. But I'm not sure 100% what the plans are this year. So I'm excited to just kind of watch it all or experience it and be a part of it this year. Yeah.
Great, Caitlin. Thanks for joining. Kristen?
Kristen Langell with Big Brothers Big Sisters of Siouxland in Sioux City, Iowa. And then we also serve Plymouth County, which is kind of the Lamars, Iowa area. We typically go to Cone Park, which is like an outdoor sledding and ice skating for National Mentoring Month. And the agency pays for all of our matches to get to participate in that activity, but doesn't look like it's going to be able to happen this year. They have limited spots, so all of our matches won't be able to attend the events. I don't know how we would work that out, and they have precautions where they have to wear a mask and everything. And then so we will be doing social media push. Typically we send out like a handwritten thank you card from the mentoring specialist to the big, and radio spots on our local radio stations, and kind of use that as a recruitment effort as well.
Great, thanks, Kristen. Lauren?
Hi, I'm Lauren Baker. I'm with Club M with the Burlington Community School District here in Burlington. And this is my first National Mentoring Month as well. I started in July, but we're still kind of up in the air if we're going to be virtual or if we're going to be in person, since we're a school-based program. So that kind of affects what we're going to be doing. But we know right now that we're going to have our mentees write thank you notes to their mentors. And then we're going to be doing some social media stuff. But until we get a definite answer of where we're going to be, that will kind of determine what it's going to look like for us.
And who knows when we'll get those answers, and they're ever changing too. Thanks, Lauren. Lynn?
Hello, Lynn Carroll, Heart of Iowa, Big Brothers, Big Sisters. You know, this is not my first National Mentoring Month, which means I don't have the plans all laid out yet, because it's kind of like, okay, let's figure out now how we're going to make this happen, like COVID related kind of things. So I can tell you a little about what we've done in the past, if that helps anybody. We usually have contacted the local newspaper, and they have done a story focusing on a school-based match, and then a community-based match. So we would have 2 articles in the paper. It would give them a great opportunity for just getting the word out about what mentoring really is about, and for the public to be able to meet those, you know, see who those are, normal people. They're not just, you know, they're not just out of the ordinary kind of, to us, you know, they are out of the ordinary, but they're just regular folks who are volunteering their time to make a difference for our kids. I have an opportunity every Friday morning to be on the radio, so I take advantage of that. One of the things we talk about during January is the Thank Your Mentor Day, and really encouraging the general public to do the, you know, think about who was that person in your life that made a difference for you growing up, and don't hesitate to thank them. You know, this is a great time to do that. They would be totally surprised. And anyway, the whole positive thing about the station, even with the DJ on the radio, about who his mentor was growing up, realizing that, you know, hey, there were some key people for him in his life, really promoting the fact that they can make a difference for kids, because he knows it made a difference for himself. So those were some good things that we've typically done. We've also tried to get all of our bigs, and we've not had very good luck with this, to use the I'm a mentor and take a picture and send it to us. I don't know why they don't do that well, but we get some, and we will post those on social media. We have also had some events. We've actually taken balloons and cookies or something.
What I did was
to our bigs and
Excuse me, Lynn. If you're not speaking, would you make sure you're muted? Thank you.
But
sorry,
you know, to drop something off at the house of the bigs, and that's, you know, a balloon and maybe some cookies or some kind of a treat like that. That's kind of a thank you for them. We've also done the kids writing a note to their mentor. That's just not going to be able to work well this year with COVID. So usually we'll do that with them at school. So, you know, any and all, it just depends on how things are going to fall into place with what we have happening and what we have restrictions for. So yeah, it's a great month. I think social media is what we're going to really spend a lot of extra energy on that we haven't done in the past. And then a few of those other things. There you go.
Thanks, Lynn. And Val has joined us as well, but she's not able to join us by audio today. So Val from Independence is also on. And did I miss anyone else?
Yeah, Cassie Gerst joined, I think, after you passed that part of the alphabet.
Thanks, Chad. Lauren's colleague, Cassie at Burlington, did you have anything else to share, Cassie? You want to put your camera on and say hi, please?
Hi, sorry, I'm on a call with payroll, so I have to get people paid. So I'm sorry. That's why I am on the call. I just have to take this call, and I was finishing another call about a different grant. So I'm here.
Hi, Cassie.
And I know Lauren is here answering things for us.
Okay.
So hi,
Okay.
Burlington School District, Cassie Gerst.
Thanks, Cassie. Sounds great. So great mix of some new folks experience their first National Mentoring Month and some veteran folks. And I'm going to share some resources with you and some ideas, some new, some just refreshed, or some maybe we're looking at differently given the year that we are and the environment that we're living in right now. I did want to point out that we have and I hope it didn't confuse folks with our calendar invitation. We've changed the name a little bit just to monthly programs call. It's not, peer share is always welcome and we'll always invite your voice in, but it's not always peer share. Sometimes we're leading, a training more. So we just wanted to reflect that a little bit more accurately. So if that confused you on in calendar invites, it's all the same. So. So we're going to go ahead and share all important, exciting, and something that's different this year is that the National Summit is virtual, if you hadn't recognized that yet. And some folks on the call have had the privilege and had funding before to attend the summit that is usually held in Washington, D.C. And it's a really amazing experience over the course of the 3 days to network with folks from all across the country. Program leaders such as yourselves, folks from Mentor National, folks from other affiliates such as the Iowa Mentoring Partnership, researchers, leaders. It's just such a great networking opportunity. Realizing it's a challenge to travel there sometimes with the cost. I'm so excited that this year when it's virtual that you could all hopefully have the opportunity to attend. It is $75, which I consider a huge bargain for this amazing conference for the early bird registration. So if you have the funds available, I really encourage you to look at that registration before December 18th to get in on the early bird registration and enjoy that summit. And even though it's virtual, there are going to be a lot of opportunities to engage and connect with other folks. So just want to really encourage that attendance. We'll get to the National Mentoring Month specific materials, but I do want to bring to your attention that in December and actually, in January, this new campaign from Mentor will be released with all kinds of assets for you to use as well. They will be releasing those coming up in the next couple weeks, so we'll make sure that you're aware of those. The Mentor in Real Life, you're probably familiar with that. They developed that a few years back, and they've done a lot of testing and research with what would resonate with folks now. And what they came up with is Mentoring Amplifies. So you can see a little bit about their the message here, Mentoring Amplifies, and the two examples at the bottom. Total sneak preview for you guys. These hasn't been released yet, but so they can use amplifies in a lot of different ways. Like we can amplify change, we can amplify the future. There'll be a whole bunch of messages. And on the next slide is just one of the examples of some of the photos that are going to be used, and you can see they're super updated because we have mentors matches using are wearing masks. So and there's just one example to take it a little bit further, a dream for everyone, building the relationship of tomorrow, and they'll be using the hashtag Mentoring Amplifies. So if you're available to attend the webinar on December 17th, this is the monthly collaborative webinar. It's at a different time. It will be at 1 p.m. our time instead of the usual noon time. But if you're able to join that, you can get the preview of that on the 17th. And if not, and always with the collaborative webinars, they're the third Thursday of the month, the national webinars. If you're not able to attend, I always encourage you just to register, and then you'll get the reminders and the recording afterwards. And they are always available on the Mentor website after. So just be looking for that. Mentor just really does a fabulous job of providing all of those, like I said, digital resources for you to be able to share and social media too. So we, at Iowa Mentoring Partnership, and we don't have in-house graphic designers. We do collaborate with some other folks to do designs for us, but as Annie was sharing how she had some partners in her community, I know a lot of you don't have these resources locally as well too, so we can certainly take advantage of our partnership with Mentor to use these resources that are ready-made for you. Mentor recognition, some of you mentioned in your introduction that you asked for the governor's certificates for mentors, and if you did request those, they will be mailed out the end of December. I will make sure I let you know when they go out in the mail. That's proving to be a little bit challenging even with COVID too, but we will get them out to you definitely. And just want to recognize or notify you too that the Excellence in Mentoring Awards, when we recognize mentors and their matches, generally those nominations come out in January, and our ceremony is during Volunteer Month in April. We were not able to hold that ceremony in person last year. We're going to honor those winners from last year this year, but we will have new nominations coming out hopefully in March. Whether or not we have an in-person ceremony again, has yet to be determined, but we do want to recognize, our volunteers that, dedicate time, over the years to our program and to their mentee. So I do want you to be thinking about that, considering nominations for your program. All of you certainly have worthy nominees. So just keep that in your mind as you're doing all kinds of other recognitions over National Mentoring Month, that you could think about elevating them to this award later in the spring.
So I'm going to share a few things from kind of the National Mentoring Month side with our national partner with Mentor and the 2021 campaign toolkits and graphics and information that's available. So the National Mentoring Month for toolkit for 2021 is available if you haven't seen that yet. And the link is here. And this, as always, the slides and the information will be available following the call, and Mary can send that out, and that has the links in here. But I know a lot of this was included in the monthly newsletter too from Iowa Mentoring Partnership. So you have it in a variety of ways. But on there, they have a variety of things which we'll highlight over the next few slides on some of it. But when you're thinking about National Mentoring Month, one of the just basic things is to tell your story. Tell what your purpose is, tell what your what your matches do, what your program does, the benefit it brings to the community. You want to do that by promoting, some of you said we try to get stories in papers or on the radio or, on our social media. Yes, that's part of what we do every day. Just, we're tagging it, and maybe we're doing more of it. Maybe we do once a month normally, or, a couple times a month, National Mentoring Month, January, try to do more, get double the posts or double the stories out if you can. And definitely when you're on social media using the hashtags National Mentoring Month, the new one, which will be released, Mentoring Amplify. And always, we appreciate you tagging us as well at Iowa Mentoring Partnership, so that we are able to see that as well and help share and lift up those stories too from across the state and across our network. But think about, when you're telling your story, it is always good to tell your story, but what is is there something else you're trying to do, that call to action, whether it is, to be a mentor? We always want people to be a mentor. Maybe it's, you want people, depending on the audience of that message, it's to, give donations. Maybe it's to help sponsor an event, whatever that is, have that call to action as part of your story, even if it's a simple, to learn more, go here, go to our website, or make sure to follow us on Facebook or Twitter or whatever you're using for your social media. So just simple kind of, or some reminders about that when we are telling our story. Mentor does have some great high quality content and information to share via videos through their Mentoring Flipped campaign, which are great if you've not seen those or engaged in those. They have some even new ones that they've done here in the virtual world, showing virtual mentoring as well. So utilize those, even though they might be not a local match in that video. Utilize them. It's there, it's free. Why not? It's still sharing the message of, hey, this person is helping this person out, and this is what we do. So just encourage you to include that, especially in social media, because engage those posts and engage, people to click on it and watch it and see that. And then they can get connected and realize, oh, they're part of this national affiliate, this national organization. Great. Maybe they didn't know that. I mean, there's other ways they can support you. Also, maybe it's an opportunity to create your own. Again, you can do that using Zoom or using some other video or have on their phone or tablet. Just create a quick, 30-second, like, hey, hello, I'm a mentor. You should be a mentor too. And, ask your mentors to kind of all submit something like that. And maybe you have the ability, or you can partner with someone to compile that into a quick 2-minute video or something that you post. And it's all about, hey, I'm a mentor, you should be too, or whatever that message is. So just another way of thinking about videos.
And Chad, I would point out that in the videos that will direct encourage people to be a mentor, and it will go to the national database through the mentoring connector, which you all should be registered in. If you've gone through NQMS, it was on that site as well. You obviously, when you share these, you can share your own information too, how they can connect with you directly. But just a reminder that folks all over the country will be sharing these videos, and that they will be driving them to the mentoring connector. So if you have questions about that, or what your login is, or if you haven't been really utilizing that, just reach out and we can make sure that you know how to get in there, and that you're getting the referrals from these videos and other promotions.
Yeah, great reminder. Thanks, Mary. And here are just some tips. So this is one of the toolkits available on the National Mentoring Month website from Mentor. They have how to engage the media. They have a one-pager, a couple pages about ideas, what you can do. I think several of you mentioned some of these that you have done or plan to do, but these are just some tips here of what that could look like. So again, this is just a snapshot of one of the things that are available on that National Mentoring Month toolkit. And again, thinking of this right here, the only cost is your time for the most part, unless you're doing paid advertisement in a publication. But getting letters, getting stories about you is free. So, think about that too. From, our budgets might look different right now. So, we're looking for free or reduced cost ways to share our story and about our program. And then what does it look like to engage public officials? What does, advocating look like? Things like that. So some different things that us at Iowa Mentoring Partnership are looking at doing and trying to do. Some of this are things that we've done before. We're just, doing it in maybe different ways because of COVID-19, but still there's importance of it. So we are working to try to get a proclamation from the governor's office. The governor has historically done a proclamation in January to proclaim National Mentoring Month in Iowa for the month of January. So, we are hopeful that we'll be able to do that, and then we share that out. We aren't sure if it'll be like a signing event like it has been in past years, where, most likely if it is, it'll be a virtual thing. It won't be in person, but we're still working on those details. We might also be able to get a video message from the governor, lieutenant governor, or our state officials to talk about National Mentoring Month that can be utilized again on social media. That can be a local effort from our leaders. And looking at different ways to promote our state employee volunteer leave and tying that to National Mentoring Month as well, and sharing messages around that. And then also, again, we have our state legislators that represent us all across the state. So engaging them, we'll talk about that here in a few slides of ideas about that and what that can look like. But also, this is priming them. You get a head start in a way to talk about National Mentoring Month now. And then in February is our virtual Volunteer Iowa Day at the Capitol. Again, it'll look different than in past years, where we won't be all walking around the Iowa State Capitol building and talking to folks in person, but we are doing, we'll have an event, we'll have ways to engage with them. So so you do outreach, you do promotion, you do that now in January, and then you have a built-in follow-up right away in early February as part of our Volunteer Iowa Day at the Capitol. And as Iowa Mentoring Partnership is part of Volunteer Iowa as one of our programs and initiatives, there's a built-in tie there and an advantage there. And then at the federal level, our members of Congress. So Mary mentioned at one of the first slides is at the end of January, the 27th through the 29th is the National Mentoring Summit, which is virtual this year. Capitol Hill Day is still taking place, and it is also going virtual. We are working on putting kind of all those details together. We're just in the beginning stages of scheduling and kind of figuring out all those logistics, but it'll be a setting like this. We're on Zoom, we're on a Teams call, we're on a conference call with our representative member of Congress, and we're telling them the great stories about mentoring in Iowa, the great stories about a local program, a local match, and asking them to support us in whatever the legislative actions might be, or the different option or ways and ideas that are going on at the federal level. So we would like you to join us in that stories or in person. So as you share your stories out over the next month, make sure Mary's aware of them so that we have them. Make sure you're tagging us online so that we see them and we can help amplify and share those as part of our message, because hearing the impact that a mentor has in a young person's life really hits home for people, as we all know. And so tying that to, asking somebody to support our work in Congress just makes it more meaningful. And one more point about the virtual Capitol Hill Day at our federal level is you don't have to register for the full virtual mentoring summit to participate in Capitol Hill Day. You can sign up separately just for Capitol Hill Day. There is a separate option. So I would say if you aren't able to attend the full virtual mentoring summit, let Mary know, or you can email myself and we will make sure to get you the information of how you can register just for the January 27th Capitol Hill Day. And we can talk more about that or answer questions about that at the end too. And then, go ahead, Mary.
Okay, I was just going to remind folks, why we engage with the governor and state legislators and our members of Congress at the federal level. The governor is a big champion of mentoring. All of these folks can be champions for us. And I know a lot of you engage with your local legislators, and just, our funding from our mentoring partnership, comes through the state budget, and just reminding your legislators, that you're connected with us and the benefits of certification to you. And while we don't fund directly, there is funding available to programs through public health and through federal government through juvenile justice as well. And there are a lot of policy issues that affect mentoring programs too, and we will be sending out information so you're aware of those. And the one we did note in the previous slide is the state employee volunteer leave, which can be used to volunteer in mentoring programs. The governor is in support of that. It has not been fully enacted. And if you're thinking, oh, that's great, only for programs in Des Moines, you could think there are state employees across the state. If you think about human services or transportation, or there are employees, state government employees across the state. So that could be a pool of, employee volunteers for you to engage with. So the photo in the slide is a local proclamation, which I know a lot of you engage in, and this is from Decorah's program with some of their county supervisors, I think in Allamakee County, or Winneshiek, I'm not sure which. But engaging with your local partners, I think, is really important too, and your local champions and local government too. So whatever that means for you, whoever it's worth you connecting with, don't forget those local folks as well. When we talk about program advocacy, sometimes nonprofits get a little nervous, but just remember that everyone can educate about your program. So you can just, inform people about what you do and the importance of mentoring. There are some restrictions about advocacy and about specifically, talking about specific legislation, but generally it's about a percentage of your budget being dedicated to advocacy or to lobbying. Unless you're really organized to be a purely lobbying organization, nonprofit, I highly doubt that you're probably meeting that threshold. But I just want you to know that anybody can educate about your program. But we're really going to ask specifically in January, and we'll provide more information about this, that you would reach out to your legislators and just remind them about your program and ask, there's other ways to engage with them too, about tagging them about Mentoring Month, or ask them to thank your mentor and engage with you on social media that way. Everybody's living in this virtual world. It's really a great opportunity to engage everyone virtually and have some champions. I just think it's always important that we tag ourselves, as Chad was saying, to tie yourselves to a bigger movement. It's you're doing great work in your community, but let them know that you're part of this bigger movement across the state and about with mentoring nationally as well.
Mary, real quickly, I know locally we have connected with our local representatives, and the fact that they know me personally, but they also know our story and what we're really all about. And so that when we go to them and say, hey, there's something coming up we would really like you to pay some attention to, it's easy for them because they already know and understand us. So it happens as simply as invite them to an event.
Yeah.
If you're having an online event right now, just send a word out that they're welcome to join you, even if it's just the, hi, this is who I am, and they have a chance to connect somehow. But I think that personal connection and reaching out to them doesn't have to be a real scary thing, but it's a very important part of what we need to do to be able to say, hey, we're here. And whether it's something about nonprofits that's coming up for them and as issues or causes, they'll be more aware of what nonprofit struggles are. If it's something about, some of the grant opportunities that could be possible, then they could be a great advocate in speaking up on your behalf. So it's just as simple as making that invitation to get to know them in some way. And I think it's really important to do.
Thanks, Lynn, and thanks for saying it's not scary. Lynn was with us in DC last year to talk with members of Congress, and we really do appreciate that program representation. Inviting them to events is certainly a great idea, so they can see what you do firsthand. And virtual events, yes, right now that's what's going on. Volunteer Iowa does do an advocacy training before our day at the Capitol, so you'll look for that in January. But we do talk about these things, about how you educate and what you can talk with elected officials about. They don't know what they don't know, and they can't be experts on everything. So if you make yourself the expert, then they will come to you, not only for mentoring, but as Lynn said too, like for nonprofit, or if you're in a school, or the prevention specialist, whatever it is, you make yourself the expert and they'll know to come to you. Thanks. So another piece on the National Mentoring Month website is the Corporate Engagement Toolkit. And sometimes I get a little distracted with corporate, and thinking about locally and in small communities too. Don't forget just your businesses that you connect with. It doesn't have to be the huge corporations in our state. And I know a lot of you do thank your business partners during National Mentoring Month. I would like to encourage you to check out the National Corporate Honor Roll and encourage businesses that support you to apply for that. And that's some great recognition at the National Mentoring Summit and also just on the national website. It's a great way to encourage their continued support of your program. I know that you use your business connections to recruit mentors, and you can think about how you might do that during National Mentoring Month. Encouraging your mentors to use a virtual background. And that could be something, everybody's in a virtual world right now. If they had something with your logo in the background when they're in meetings, that'd be a great way to promote your program. And I know Mentoring Amplify, that campaign is also going to have some virtual backgrounds too, if you just need something in general about mentoring. Share some sample messages for businesses to share on their social media. They can share about how it benefits their employers and the employers and their employees. And then look for more. This is super exciting. The Give Back Iowa Challenge in 2021, we're going to have a mentoring focus, because folks can still volunteer in mentoring programs. I know it's been a challenge for you guys pivoting to doing online and social distancing, and we do have the virtual platform. But the Give Back Iowa Challenge is run out of Volunteer Iowa office, and it's about employer engagement and volunteering in the community. And this has a challenge. It's a competition between different size companies across the state, how many volunteer hours they can get in. So look for more information on that, but really excited that we're going to be able to promote mentoring with this and bring some volunteers and some interest your way, hopefully. So the next slide is just a reminder of some of the campaign dates. And some of you mentioned, I Am a Mentor Day. Of course, we always promote the MLK Junior Day of Service. International Mentoring Day, I didn't even realize that till this year, that's in honor of Muhammad Ali's birthday. And I mean, we talked about being part of a bigger mentoring movement. How about International Mentoring Day? And Thank Your Mentor Day. Start collecting those photos now. And so you can share all kinds of champions, your mentors, your mentors themselves, but if there are other champions in the community that don't volunteer with your program, they can simply thank their mentor. And Cassie likes your background, Chad, even though it's not virtual, it's the Christmas tree. You don't like my corner office? That is what we have to share right now, except for some upcoming reminders about some upcoming dates. Not related to National Mentoring Month, just to the work we continue to do. We do have the virtual platform available for programs at no cost. And so we're going to do a demo of that again on Monday at 9 a.m., the 14th. Reminder about the Mentoring Amplifies webinar if you're interested in that. And of course, our regular January calls. January 5th, we'll have our next program coffee chat. We're doing those the first Tuesday of the month at 9 a.m. So look for that in the newsletter or calendar invite if you haven't seen those. Just a way to touch base. Folks wanted to do that coming out of the conference. And our January 14th program call will be not the state of the state, not the state of the union, but the state of mentoring. And we'll do a look back and a look forward for mentoring in Iowa. So I'm going to pause here and see if anyone has questions about anything we shared, or if it brought something to mind that you would like to share with others.
I can also share too that from IMP, Mary and I are working on developing a annual kind of training plan calendar, so to speak, with what we might cover in different quarters. I know we put it out in the newsletter when things are coming up and when there are things, but we're trying to kind of roll that out as a package, so to speak, here during National Mentoring Month as well. So just another, I think, thing that we want to amplify and share with you all, so that we're celebrating Mentoring Month, but really it's to support what you're doing all year round. So yeah.
Nicely done, Chad. The use of amplify. Did you all catch that? He's on it with the new campaign already.
Hey, if anybody's really trying to decide whether or not the National Mentoring Summit is worth your time, I will say yes, it is. I do think there is something you're going to learn or just connect with that you haven't heard before. The cool part is that you're hearing from other places across the country. And sometimes it's a matter of them telling talking about something, and then you take from that and say, how can I apply this to where I live? And take the good things that you can connect with. But it just means a little bit of time in, if you are clicked on, you don't necessarily have to be sitting in your chair at the same time that you're on one of those trainings or workshops. You could do it standing up even. So if you're growing tired of your screen and your chair, then that's another option for you. But I've found them to be very worthwhile.
Thanks, Lynn. I know somebody at a school-based program said that they were going to be home for those 2 days so they could really focus and pay attention to, and really be attending the conference, because that's what they'd be doing if they traveled. I know that gets a little trickier, like for me too. When I'm at home, I don't know how I turn off everything else. I'll work, but I do appreciate that thought though. Like, use it as, as professional development and give yourself that time to attend. Well, I'm going to just make an assumption that everyone is just mulling over all of their new great ideas they want to try for National Mentoring Month. I'm going to stop recording.